Business items. We're going to move to item number 8, which is a water supply update. This will be presented by our Public Works Director, Diana Langley.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I'm first going to talk about the water sources that Yuba City has. So we have a State Water Resources Control Board license, 13855. The annual allotment is 6,500 acre feet, and this would be considered a winter water supply in that it's restricted to time of use of September through June. This typically is one of our more reliable sources of water, and it's not typically curtailed. And then we have the State Water Resources Control Board permit 18558, of which our annual allotment's 9,000 acre feet. This again is winter water use, October through June. This one is subject to curtailments on a frequent basis, and what that means is that DWR will give us a notification that we need to stop drawing water from the Feather River during certain times, usually in advance of June. Like this year, I would anticipate that at any moment we would get this curtailment saying quit drawing under this permit. We also have a contract with North Yuba Water District, of which our annual allotment's 4,500 acre feet. This is a very reliable contract that we use for our summer water supplies. We are part of the Department of Water Resources State Water Project. We are a state water contractor. Our annual allotment is 9,600 acre feet contractually. However, it is very rarely, prior to the 2013 drought, the average was maybe about a 60% allotment. More recently, it's been much less than that. And in fact, our current allotment for this calendar year is 5%. The last time we had a 5% allotment was 2014. And so this is one that we can draw year round, typically used for summer water supplies, but not as reliable. We also have a backup groundwater well at the water treatment plant, of which we can pump approximately 1,200 acre feet per year. This only goes online during drought situations, and in fact, we did have to bring it online during the drought that occurred between about 2013 through 2017. It's been off for the last few years. So when you add all of these up, it totals 30,800 acre feet that on paper we have available to us to supply to our citizens. So here's a graph that shows contractual water supply on the left, so that's 30,800. And then you have historical water uses from 2013 through 2020, and then the projected water demand for 2021. You can see in 2013, the water demand was 18,178 acre feet. If I were to project back prior to 2013, I would say that would be about average, where you would be in about the 18,000 acre feet range. You can see that with the water conservation efforts that took place between 2000, really it started in 2014 through 2017, our citizens, our water customers did a really great job implementing those water conservation measures. And in fact, have continued to do a great job in that you don't see big spikes. You don't see where they recovered and started going back to their previous habits of utilizing water. We've stayed consistent within about the 15,000 acre feet per year utilization. And so if you look at our 2021 water sources for license 13855, just based upon the time of use and the volume that we can draw, we're estimating we're going to use about 1,887 acre feet. For the permit 18558, we're estimating 4,443 acre feet. For the North Yuba Water District, we expect to maximize that contract. As I mentioned on the previous slide, the DWR State Water Project, our allocation is only 5%, so 480 feet. And then we will start the backup groundwater well at the water treatment plant, which would provide us about 1,000 acre feet. So what's important with the DWR State Water Project is for years that we don't use our full allocation, we're able to bank water. And so that is counted as carryover water, and it's complicated in how it's calculated and where it's stored. It's stored in the San Luis Reservoir, and that seems very strange that south of Yuba City is where our water would be stored, but that's really a calculation. It's how it's accounted for in our contracts as a state water contractor. But with that stored water, we're able to carry it over and utilize it in years when we need it. And when the San Luis Reservoir spills, it resets, and then we're able to rebuild that bank. So currently today, we have 4,900 acre feet of carryover water. So that would total 17,218 acre feet that we estimate being available for this calendar year. So going back to what we are projecting for water demand for 2021 of 15,228 and our water supply of 17,218, we project that we will have enough water for this calendar year. However, I want to put a big caution on that, because if we did not have that sweepy carryover water available, this is where we would project our water supply to be. And so that's very important. We do have a dry year right now. We're projecting to have a very dry year right now. You know, what the unknown is what's next year going to look like. And so to the extent that we can conserve that carryover supply so that we have it as an insurance policy, that's great. To the extent that we can conserve that 5% allocation that we have, that builds into our bank. But just want to put that on council's radar in terms of what this looks like. So next steps, we are currently in the process of updating our urban water management plan, which is required every 5 years. And included in that is our water shortage contingency plan. And if you all lived in Yuba City during 2014, 15, 16, 17, when we had to implement our water shortage contingency plan, we had different stages, and you could only water your lawn during certain days of the week. You weren't supposed to wash your car. There were a lot of restrictions as to how you could utilize the water. This water shortage contingency plan, there are elements that are dictated by the state that have to be included in the plan, as well as the urban water management plan. This plan will come before council in June. There will be a public hearing. We encourage the public to review the plan, provide comments, and then we would expect to adopt in the June timeframe. Also, next steps that we're proposing is to distribute educational outreach materials to water customers. As I mentioned previously, our customers did a great job with conservation before, and they already made changes to their habits to reduce that consumption. What we'd like to do is make sure that our customers are aware that we do have rebate programs available. And so currently those programs include WaterSense labeled toilets. You can get up to $100 for 2 toilets per household per location. We have smart irrigation controls. You can get up to 50% or $75 rebate, whichever is less, and 2 per location. And then for shower heads, you can get up to $20 and 2 per location. The other thing is that irrigation systems is, you know, I walk my neighborhood every morning, and as I walk around, I see people that don't know that their sprinkler heads are broken, or they don't know that they're spraying into the street. And so those are the types of things that we just want to encourage customers to check their irrigation system. You know, whenever it's scheduled to turn on, whether it's late in the night or early in the morning, set your alarm, go out and look at it, because I think just a lot of people don't realize that that sprinkler head's broken and it's just shooting water straight up into the air, and it's all going into the storm drain. The other big project that we have going on right now is replacing the radio read meter heads with cellular meter heads. And why this is so important is because our water customers will have access to real-time data related to their water use. And with that, they would have real-time data related to any leaks. So if their meter is continually operating and registering a leak, they can get an alert. And right now, because we only read the meters once a month, it might be a few weeks before you find out that you had a leak. And in the meantime, your bill's accumulating, you're wasting water. And so with this new system, customers will be able to go online, look at their water usage, and then also set it up so that they can get alerts if they potentially have leaks. So with all of that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Councilman Kirchner. Councilwoman Espandola.
Through the chair, through the mayor, where am I at?
Whoever, yeah.
Diana, the cellular, I can't talk, hello, meter retrofit project, they've been doing that, going out
Yes.
to the homes a lot. And
Yes.
I've seen the teams and the crews that have gone out there, they're on it. Mm-hmm. They're very cordial. They're leaving information on the doors, mm-hmm. letting folks know that this is happening. So I'm good to see that it's already launched and really going out there. So thanks. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Mr. Harris. Vice Mayor. I'm going to make a quick statement, and this is based upon, I was invited to take a helicopter tour of the Delta, where they included what's going on with the federal and the state water project. And and I'm not going to get into the environmental or politics stuff. I'm just going to signal a big yellow light out there. If you live in the city of Yuba City or in Northern California, please keep aware of what's going on with the projects that are contemplated to move Northern California water to Southern California, because it will have a direct impact on some of what's out there. You can't pump out of a dry ditch. So it doesn't matter what your allocations are. If the water, we have continued short water years, what they're planning to do and what I think they're going to come to consensus on is not twin tunnels, but one tunnel. But that one tunnel will still divert quite a bit of our water to Southern California. And so, again, I'm not making a political statement here. I'm just saying be very, very mindful, because it will have a direct impact on what Ms. Langley just presented to us.
So I would like to comment on that, because being a state water contractor, and it's the state water contractors that are interested in having that project proceed forward. So the north of Delta contractors have been in discussions with DWR and the other state water contractors related to the north of Delta contractors don't want to pay for those improvements to convey the water to the south of Delta contractors, because that's going to be a very costly project. And so we have our attorney engaged, we have our consultant engaged to make sure that we're protecting our water contract and protecting our costs, so that we're not tied into the costs associated with that project.
Good. Questions from the public?
No public comment.
All right. Did we have any? Yes, we did have.
So I remember going through that drought situation big time. And the city did conserve a lot of water, and we were rewarded by our water bills going up, our rates increasing. But at the same time, I was working in Southern California in Lancaster, and it was amazing to me the amount of water that was just running everywhere down there like they could care less. It was massive amount. It seemed like no conservation effort whatsoever. So like what you just talked about, Southern California has taken a lot of our water. But I've said this for years, and many of my friends will attest to it. You might be surprised I have some friends, but I do. The two greatest weapons in the world, number one is mind control, and we see that full effect in the world today. Number two is controlling the water supply, and that is the facts. Now, as far as not washing your cars, I'm curious if that's going to be tried to be implemented here. What is a man to do? Never wash his car? I mean, that's...
So as part of the different stages of the water shortage contingency plan, there are elements in which you would not be able to wash your car like in front of your yard, but you're welcome to visit a commercial car wash because they recycle the water. The other thing is that with the last drought, for those that recall, the state really put mandates on agencies in terms of certain conservation milestones that they had to reach, and they were pretty severe. And then also the state issued restrictions, regardless of what agencies' water shortage contingency plan said, they issued restrictions that all Californians had to abide by. And so I just saw on the news today that there's a water agency that's voting tonight, their board's voting tonight in terms of implementing mandatory conservation efforts. With this particular agency, they rely on local water supplies. They're not part of the Central Valley Project, which is a federal project, or the state water contractor, state water project. But I think over the next few weeks, we're going to see a lot more discussions related to agencies implementing voluntary as well as mandatory conservation measures. I don't think we're at that point yet, but that's why we want to distribute educational materials to our customers to just try to address kind of the blatant things, like with the sprinklers. And, hopefully with that, we can really moderate our water supply and be able to extend that carryover bank to water that we have.
I would also add a situation to keep an eye on is, people, I think, realize that Yuba City is in the heart of an ag-based economy. And the ag community is deeply concerned right now in regards to water supply. And if you can't grow a crop, then you can't make a buck. And so, again, this whole notion of teaming up to conserve water and being mindful of where our water's going, et cetera. It's convenient at times when we have a good wet winter to just not worry about it, but it's times like this when it really comes to top of mind. So it has a potential for being a really big deal, and I thank you, Ms. Langley, for bringing up, especially if we go through another dry year. I think it's going to be very, very challenging for a lot of folks in our community, including us.
Through the mayor, I totally agree with you. Sitting on several water boards along with Diana, we are extremely in a good position to have Diana working here in the city to help us navigate within this water issue. She's highly respected, regarded in multiple boards that I'm sitting with her, and she does excellent work. But the issue of less water availability is a concern repeated over in those meetings. So thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you, Diana.